On Sunday, 21 young people died at Enyobeni Tavern in East London, with the youngest victim being 13 years old. There were no visible injuries on the bodies of the deceased, authorities have said. Some family members of the victims have been gathering at the tavern to try and find out the latest news. The police said the deaths would be investigated. For more on the story, we now cross to our colleague Lubabalo Dada. A very good day to you, Lubabalo. What are you hearing on the ground?
Well, very good morning to you. The past few days have not been easy for the families of the victims of the Enyobeni tragedy. The families have been trying to come to terms with the loss of their children. They are looking for answers. There's been a counseling process that started yesterday, but you could tell that they are still traumatized and they are trying to heal. And now we have been told that there is a mass funeral that is planned for next week. But for more on that, I am joined by the Eastern Cape government spokesperson, Kusela Ranji. Thank you very much for your time, Kusela. We do understand that next week there is a funeral. Can you talk to us about that process?
Yes, government through the Interministerial Committee as well as the Buffalo City Metropolitan Municipality has been in constant engagement with the families, who then expressed a wish that a mass funeral service be conducted next week, Wednesday. It is expected that it will just be a service at an appropriate venue in Sinar Park, and thereafter families will be assisted with the transportation of the bodies to the various burial sites that they would have chosen. We also understand that from the 21 that have passed on, there are those that will be buried in areas outside the Buffalo City Metro. Government is at this stage busy with those processes to make sure that these young people are given a dignified send-off.
Okay. Have all the bodies been identified?
As of last night, only 20 bodies were identified. There is still one that has not been identified, and authorities are working with the communities to make sure that the one young person who has not yet been identified is identified. We also call upon families that may be missing, perhaps their loved ones, to make contact with the police through 10111 or the Sinar Park police station. Go there for further information so that they may be directed to where the body is being kept at this stage.
Talk to us about the counseling process. How are the survivors and the family members of the victims receiving the counseling?
At this stage, it is still very early to tell whether they are properly coping with the situation. However, social workers have been on the ground since Monday. We are receiving reinforcement from some NGOs who are supporting the work that government is doing to make sure that there is engagement at an individual level, at a family level, as well as a community level. The plan is that there also must be work that is done with group dialogues within the community, so that everyone and anyone who has been affected by this tragedy is assisted in terms of easing through the pain. And also we are expecting that the 4 that are still in hospital, at the time that they are released and they can start interaction with psychologists, they will also be provided with such care. The other element that social workers are looking at is the schooling environment. We understand that some of these learners were attending schools in and around the BCM area, so there's work that will be done also to make sure that when the camp starts in the next week, those learners that may, some of them perhaps be hearing for the first time that their friends from the school, they also receive help, and the situation will be monitored until we are sure that at least the first impact or the pain is eased and everyone is dealing with the situation much better.
Well, people are trying to know the cause of the death of those children. So when will be the results released?
We really sympathize with the rest of the Eastern Cape. In the main, the families, they are also waiting patiently to to know what is it that happened. And at this stage as government, we continue to appeal to communities, to South Africa and the rest of the world that we give the investigators the space and time to deal with this matter. And as soon as the investigations are concluded, it will be released.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kusela Ranji. That was the spokesperson for the Eastern Cape government, Kusela Ranji, updating us on the developments surrounding the Enyobeni tragedy. With that, it is back to you in studio.
Lubabalo Dada, thank you so much for those updates on a story that the whole nation is still continuing to talk about.